So we're going to go ahead and get started here, starting off with the Las Vegas Raiders. Their first round pick was a surprise to many, including myself. They had another reach yet again during the Mike Mayock era. And with the 17th pick overall, they took Alabama offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood. There was a chance he could have been there with their second round pick. To me, this was arguably the worst pick of the first round. I think Peyton Turner with New Orleans Saints. It's a toss-up between those two. But Leatherwood here just does not make any sense. He was not even the top 3 best offensive tackle available. Christian Darrisaw was available, and he dropped to 20 to the Minnesota Vikings. Darrisaw was clearly a better offensive tackle. There was far more better offensive tackles than Leatherwood. This is just a horrible pick here by the Raiders. They reached for Clement Ferrell several years ago to number 4. They reached last year taking Damon Arnett, the corner from Ohio State, way too early. This is another reach, and this is a reason why the Las Vegas Raiders continue to be mediocre. It seems that they always reach in the first round, and that's where your best talent is the first round. Despite having an absolutely horrible pick in the first round, I do think the Raiders kind of made up for it though in the second round, because they, in my opinion, had the best pick in the second round, arguably, picking TCU safety Trevon Moehrig. Moehrig, he's the best safety in the class, and it's not even close. Despite being the best safety, the best player at his position, he is extremely underrated and actually dropped to the second round, which surprised many people, including myself, because I was a lot higher on Moehrig than most people. He is absolutely phenomenal in pass coverage. He has the most pass deflections the past 2 seasons among safeties. He has the highest grade in pass coverage among safeties this past season. They drafted Jonathan Abrams, the safety from Mississippi State, back in 2019. He's a really, really great player, but he's been unable to stay on the field. In just 2 seasons, he's only played 13 games for the Raiders. I think it was really, really smart here, getting an insurance policy or maybe even a future replacement for Abrams, because Trevon Moehrig right here is a phenomenal pick. And I think, people talking about the Leatherwood pick at 17, which is, it's a horrible pick. I think people are really talking about that more than the Moehrig pick, which I don't really understand, because Moehrig, I kind of think it makes up for the Leatherwood pick a little bit, because let's say if you take Trevon Moehrig at 17 and Alex Leatherwood at 43, I don't see the difference between that. I think you just picked the 2 players. If you swap where you got them, I think Raider fans would be a lot more accepting of the Leatherwood pick and a lot more happy within their first 2 rounds. With their third round pick, they kind of reached just like they did with Leatherwood in the first round, and they took Buffalo edge rusher Malcolm Kuntz. This pick really makes no sense at all. Malcolm Kuntz, to many, had a 5th round grade, maybe even a 6th round grade. But this is something I kind of talked about a lot throughout the draft process. Where there's so many great edge rushers, lots of teams are going to have different rankings without their edge rushing class. Patrick Jones, an edge rusher from Pittsburgh, Jordan Smith from UAB, Ellerson Smith from Northern Iowa, are just 3 edge rushers I think are a lot better than Malcolm Kuntz. There's a lot more too, but I think this was a reach for a position you don't desperately need. And he reached at a position that he wasn't even a top 3, probably not even a top 5 player at his position available. So I really do not like this pick here by the Raiders. This was another reach yet again for Mayock and Gruden. They actually had the next pick after that, and they took Virginia Tech safety Devon Diablo. This is not a bad pick, but they already took Trevon Moehrig. It really appears that they are kind of done with Jonathan Abrams. He's only played 2 years and not even played a full 16 games combined in those 2 years. You took your safety of the future Moehrig. You took another safety in the next round. They're really, really trying to upgrade their safety position and get more depth in the secondary. I thought this was a pretty decent pick here by the Las Vegas Raiders. In the 4th round, they yet again take another safety. In the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds, they take a safety in each of those rounds. They triple up on safety. I don't understand this pick at all. It's one thing to, maybe attack position early if it's best player available, but you've already had 3 safeties in the first 145 picks of the draft. You've had 5 picks of the draft, and your first 3 out of the 5 were safeties. This pick makes no sense. At this point, they're just reaching again, like they were with Leatherwood and Malcolm Kuntz in the 3rd round. I do not understand this pick here by the Raiders. It just does not make any sense at all. There's bigger needs, maybe a quarterback, maybe a wide receiver to help Derek Carr, because they don't really have any great wide receivers in Vegas for Carr to throw to. This is another bad pick here for the Las Vegas Raiders. In the 5th round, I take Illinois' cornerback Nate Hobbs. I thought this was a pretty decent pick. Hobbs is one of the better corners here around this pick. Like I said, they're really trying to upgrade their secondary. This is not a bad pick at all. I think this is a pretty nice pick here by the Raiders. If you're going corner, I thought Hobbs was the way to go, but I thought this was a nice pick here by the Raiders, which is something I've not said pretty much at all throughout this Raiders draft grade. For the Raiders' final selection of the 2021 draft, they took Pittsburgh center Jimmy Morrissey. I thought this was a pretty decent pickup here by Las Vegas. Morrissey was the best student available here. They can use some interior offensive line help because they no longer have Rodney Hudson. I really like this pick here. I think this is kind of maybe one of the more underrated picks here in the 2021 NFL draft. Overall, I give the Las Vegas Raiders a draft grade of a B-. There's a few picks where I really think Las Vegas had some nice selections, especially Trevon Moehrig, because I think that's one of the best picks in the entire NFL draft. The Jimmy Morrissey pick I liked quite a bit, and the Nate Hobbs one was not bad either. But aside from those picks, I was not really a fan of any of them. They were all reaches in my opinion, and this is just another year where the Raiders reach, it seems like, for the majority of their picks. Some people think maybe going into the season the Raiders could be in the playoff contention. After this draft, I don't think that's likely. If they would have had a good draft, possibly, but I really don't think they had that good of a draft. But overall, I ended up giving the Raiders a draft grade of a B-.